Gary! Gary!
In the morning sun, where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. Alright. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. Alright. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow.
Gary! Gary!
In the morning sun, where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. Alright. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello, plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello, plant, in every shade and room, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, hello.
Not using Jody today.
Hey guys, welcome to the Monday Live question. Hey guys, welcome to the Monday Live Q&A with Chris, where he's got over 60 years of horticultural experience. He'll be talking or answering any questions you have related to gardening, or you have any plants or anything, trees or anything like that. You have an idea that you want to, get across or ask a question. Now's the time to do it. So start dropping your questions below in the comments section, and Chris will happily answer them for you. How are you going today, Chris?
Great. I felt that we were building up towards a bit of a drought in Victoria. I noticed that the grass was turning yellow on my lawn, and it was generally starting to dry up. And today's rain today's rain indicates that that maybe we're not having a drought. Like this is the most rain, or the longest rainy patch I've seen for ages. And it's interesting because there was a little article on the ABC about how Lake Eyre, the last time Lake Eyre was this full, we had our wettest year on record, and that was back in the early 70s. And I think I can remember that year, and I wonder that we're not going to have a super wet year again. So
it's good for the garden, isn't it?
Great for the garden, and if you were worrying about drought and worrying about, I wonder if we're not heading for our wettest year ever, which could be a great year to get in, and if you're in a bit of a hot, dry area, get in and establish some new plants, fix up the garden a bit, because it could be a wet year.
Perfect. All right, that's true. All right, well, even though it's raining, it's still a good time for gardening. So let's get stuck into our questions. First one here comes to us from Pieces of April 85. I planted 6 Acacia cognata standards in April. They've been dying off one at a time over winter. Standard with browning leaves. What could be causing it? Can I save the last 3?
Okay, what I think I would do is I would go and I'd pick the sickest one I've got, and I'd dig a hole down around the roots, and I'd be looking for wet feet. Now, wet feet is one of the most, a lot of Melbourne and a lot of Victoria is quite heavy clay. And if you dig a hole in the clay, a little hole in the clay, and you put the plant in there, that clay can act like a water bowl. It can fill up with water, and the water is not the killer. What's the killer is the organic matter decomposing in the water, sucks up all the oxygen, and the plant actually asphyxiates, so like that. It runs out of air and the plant suffocates. So water can't really kill a plant, but certainly excess or lack of drainage, too much water, lack of drainage, and you can basically kill the plant. And that's what the fact that it's happened through the winter would tend to indicate possible wet feet.
So drainage issues.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the acacia wouldn't be worried particularly by cold. It would be, yeah, it'd have to be wet feet.
Okay, so and what would the solution be for them to
Well,
get some?
what I would do is I'd dig down beside one. I'd see if it's excessively wet, if it smells bad, and if that's the case, I'd lift them all out and I'd pot them and into a nice loose potting mix and let them recover.
All right, there you go. Pieces of April. Hopefully that helps you out there, and you can dig them out and let them recover in a nice pot. All right, we got a comment here saying from Kira saying, "Love your tips." Thank you.
Oh, great! Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for watching there. Feel free to get your questions through now. Any gardening questions you may have, Chris can answer them live on today's show. Our next one here comes to us from Gary asking, how do I know when to fertilise my plants?
That's an interesting
It's
question.
a bit general, isn't it? Like,
It's very general, but I was just wondering how I could answer that in a very general way. Like, with probably my favourite fertiliser would be Osmocote or an Osmocote type fertiliser, which is basically all your fertiliser ground up into little particles, made into a pellet and plastic coated. Now, what that does is that the fertiliser releases slowly, and I reckon that if you get a 12-month Osmocote, it never lasts quite as long as it's meant to, and you redo it every 6 months, and you do that on 99% of plants, you're pretty right. And it's only things like with lavender, you need to be very, very meagre with your fertiliser, and with with say like a grass tree, you would only ever use a native Osmocote and only minute amounts and maybe a little bit of lime. But generally for most plants, a good dose of Osmocote every 6 months would be a good general rule that you could use on nearly everything, and be very careful with how much you put on your lavenders.
all right, beautiful. Hopefully that helps you out there with that fairly general question. Gary, thanks for the question. MWRT89 asks, hi Chris, I have a Japanese maple in a pot. Was looking good until the other day. We had the hot day. I water it most days. Do you recommend new soil or just the fertiliser?
Okay, I reckon that our Japanese maples here, I'm not going to water them today, but from here on out, now that we're into the warm weather, I will water. I'd have possibly 1,000 to 1,200 Japanese maples in store right now. People love Japanese maples, and we've got all different sorts, all different colours. We've got it for little tiny ones, but there'd be 1,000 or 1,200 here. And my rule will be, I will water them every day that it doesn't rain for the next 6 or 7 months, for the warm months of the year. And on super hot days, which I wouldn't have called the other day a super hot day, but say the really hot days, say we'll probably get 1 or 2 days of low 40s in summer, I will water them twice on those days. And then say, for instance, say your Japanese maple dries right out. Say you come home from work, it's been a really hot day, your Japanese maple's really, really dry. What I do is when my Japanese maples are really, really dry, I do my old double water technique. And what I do is you come home from work, you give them a fairly quick squirt. Don't do long, and you give them a fairly quick squirt. Then you go and have some dinner, or you go and have a cold beer or something like that. Then you come back and give them a second drink. And that second drink is when it's interesting. If you pick up the pot after the first drink, it's never that heavy. But if you do the first drink, then come back half an hour later and give them a second drink and go heavy on that second drink, you'll find your pot becomes really heavy. And so with that double watering, that plant is going to stay moist a lot longer.
Beautiful.
So I think anybody, and the double watering technique, I've got a lady who works with me and she calls it pulse watering. And sometimes what happens is I'll find some corner of the nursery that somebody forgot to water and it's terribly dry, and I'll do 3 waterings. I'll go water, half an hour, water like that, and I find that will
soaks it through.
that'll bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, or they say it's wilted and leaves are curling. So it sounds like dry, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like dry, and do your double or triple water, and put it in the shade. Keep the leaves wet till it starts to perk up a bit.
All right, perfect. There you go, MWRT. Hopefully that answers that for you. Chomp asks, brought a snake plant off you. How much light do they need?
A snake plant. I'm confused that we've got.
Maybe spider plant?
I'm getting mixed up spider grasses and snake plants,
Yeah.
and I'm getting all mixed up. The snake plant, I think they're talking about a mother-in-law's
That's
tub.
what I thought too.
And
yeah.
we've got one at home, and it's in a dark bedroom, and it's been there for years, and it's the best one I've ever seen. It's got so many leaves I can hardly lift it, and
Really? Wow.
and really it's in an amazingly dark room. So, and I remember my mum used to keep one nowhere near the window. She had it there for about 20 years in the entrance of the house, and so I would say no direct sun, and just a
No
fairly
direct sun.
no
Okay, there
direct
you go,
sun,
Tom.
and a fairly average sort of lit room with no direct sun, and you'd be happy.
Excellent. All right, Chomp, that answers that snake plant question for you. Actually, I probably should mention you should talk about your live you're doing on Wednesday about the maples.
Right. Okay. Actually,
For those of you who want to join
on
us.
Wednesday? I forgot. Is it 2 o'clock?
I think it's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock
for the
for
maples, yeah.
Maples are 1 o'clock.
And then 2 o'clock is the hydrangeas.
So I'm doing a couple of lives. Now I'm going to be doing some lives regularly from here on out. And these lives, what I'm going to do is we have a collection of over 50 different maples in the nursery right now. This is the best time of year for looking at your maples. And we've got this collection of over 50 different maples right now. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking you through all of those maples, telling you a little bit about each maple, and I'll be telling you a little bit about each maple, and it'll be for Maple Show is at 2 p.m.
The hydrangeas is at 1.
Yeah. Maple Show is at 2 p.m. and you'll be able to see, like, the best way to see my maples is to come down to the nursery and have a look. Over 50 different varieties of maples in store, but say you can't get down here, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, you can see all of those maples.
Yeah, beautiful, and we'll have you out there in amongst them, I think. It's probably the best way to...
I think we'll put the maples in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we worked out a way to do it out there, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So join us at 2 p.m. this Wednesday if you're interested in maples, you want to learn more, and then join us at 1 p.m., just an hour earlier, if you want to learn more about the hydrangeas. On this Wednesday, the 5th of November. Okay, so next we have a question from Okalo. Hi Chris, I'm Dickens Okalo from Uganda. I'd like to inquire how to manage my orchids. It's not bring flowers constantly, and the flowers goes off very soon.
Okay.
Any idea what that could be?
So, first of all, for orchids, you need an orchid mix, and I've made my own. And what I do when I make my own, I use coarse charcoal. You know, nice big chunks of charcoal where you've been burning some logs, and you let the fire go out, and you have some nice big chunky bits of charcoal. Then get a good quality potting mix and mix that through the charcoal. Osmocote seems to work really, really well. They love plenty of fertiliser, so a good Osmocote, a nice fertiliser mixed through nice chunky bits of charcoal, and you've got a great orchid mix. And then the orchids love good drainage, so you have a nice big hole in your pot, and good drainage, so plenty of fertiliser, a good fresh mix. And they seem to need dividing. Like, they can get a bit, if they're in the one pot for years, they'll tend to get a bit old and tired. So you need to divide them and repot them regularly and keep them moving and growing, and then you seem to get plenty of flowers. So you find that when you've left them too long in the pot, their flowers recede. When you first split them again you don't get much flowering, but then after they settle in and get growing for a year or so, then they start flowering really well in their repotted, and then after another few years you need to repot them again.
All right, awesome. There you go. Ocala, try the repotting and hopefully get them going all healthy again.
And that charcoal with good quality potting mix and a bit of Osmocote seems to really work well for them.
Yeah, beautiful. I hope you have Osmocote over in Uganda. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, check it out. You can Google Osmocote.
Yeah, Osmocote is like it's
fertilizer.
a small pelletized fertilizer. It's a plastic coated NPK. And what's good about it, where a lot of fertilizers come and go in a matter of weeks, your Osmocote can keep on fertilizing for 6 to 12 months.
All right, beautiful. There you go. All right, MWRT says thank you for that, Chris. That was about the maples and triple and double soaking them. Amelia asks, how much for poppy plants, the good ones?
For poppies?
Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite poppy is an Iceland poppy, and normally you can buy, I don't often have them here for sale, but Iceland poppies are fantastic. They flower like crazy in late winter and early spring. And going back 100 years ago in Melbourne, Iceland poppies were the thing to have in the house. People used to grow acres of Iceland poppies, and they love Iceland poppies. Are bright and fresh and wonderful. But right now, so Iceland poppies, you plant them in January, February for a fabulous show end of winter and spring.
Yeah.
And generally they're available in little punnets in your nurseries. But at the moment there's like Californian poppies in the nursery, and they're a perennial, and they have a big showy flower. And I think we have them in 4-inch pots for $7.99, in a small pot for $7.99. So there's a few different perennial poppies available now, but my favourite are the old Iceland poppies, which are an annual.
All right, there you go, Amelia. Hopefully that's the ones you're talking about. She said you know the ones I mean, so it might be the Icelandic ones. Would you say? Is that like the big? I'm just wondering.
They're my favourites, and it could be the Icelandic, and they're January, February for that late winter, early spring show.
All right, there you go, Amelia. Hopefully that answers or helps you out with that question there. I don't know if I understand this next question from Suzanne M82. Do you get ficus? Oh wait, it's the name. Sorry, now I get it. Do you get ficus white lighting plants? Cannot get them anywhere. Do you know that one?
We could do a P&A for that. We used to get them. We're getting some of those out of northern New South Wales. But we could certainly do a P&A for white lightning. If we just, how would
is it lightning or lighting?
It's white lightning. Is it was a beautiful ficus with a beautiful round leaf and white splashes of variegation on it called white lightning, and it was quite popular a few years ago. But I haven't seen it around for a few years. So white lightning. But if you gave us some way of contacting, I can look on our computers and things and see if we can find it. We have a good access to most of the nurseries in Australia.
All right, or you could also try giving us a call right now. 03 9359 3331.
But the best thing would be if we had a name and a number, and we could get Suman to do a P&A, a price and availability.
Yeah, so there's several ways you can contact us. Direct message through the platform you're using right now, or you can give us a call or go to our website and just send us an email. All right, Susan M82, and we'll help you out with that. Looking for that one. All right, next question, or it's more of a, Eddie just asked, can I message you with a question? Yes, of course. Send through your question when you're ready, Eddie. I didn't mean to rhyme that either. Chomp, thanks, that's reassuring. That was about the snake plant and not needing any light.
Yeah.
Crystal asks, what can I put poolside for full sun? Poolside, full sun.
A lot of people want to have a tropical feel beside their pool, and something like a Washington palm or a dwarf date palm gives you that nice tropical feel. And then you might put some sort of nice ground cover underneath, like I say, a silver dichondra or something like that. So I'm thinking maybe a nice palm, or if you've got a more sort of modern or sort of more modern feel to the garden, you might go for a nice standardised bay tree or something like that. A nice standardised bay would give you a nice sort of modern, smart feel, or you could go with a palm and have that more tropical feel. And the other thing that a lot of people actually, when I think about it, that nothing says tropical more than a giant bird of paradise. And giant birds of paradise have that lush tropical look, but they're very easy to maintain. And they have those big sort of banana-like leaves on them and things like that. So, and they're very hardy and easy to keep looking good in a pot. So giant bed of paradise would be another plant well worth a look for beside the pool.
All right, try those options out there, Crystal. If you missed any of the answer there from Chris, you can always head over to YouTube straight after this live is finished, and we'll post the video there where you can hear the answer to the question. All right, next question comes to us from Anthony Seek. Just stating, I've got the Prunus bluriana from you a few in April. The leaves are getting small holes, like something is eating it. What can I apply?
It's a shot hole, and really I just apply some fertilizer and some water, and the new leaves coming will start to grow out of it. I probably wouldn't bother spraying for it, but it's basically, it's shot hole, which is a fungal thing that affects a few prunuses. But I think some fertilizer and get it growing. With the warm weather, some fertilizer, get it growing, and it'll...
What are the holes caused from? They're just caught like...
It's a fungal, it's called shot hole. It's a fungal problem.
Shot hole, okay.
And generally, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd get them to grow out of it. You know, heat, water and fertilizer, and they'll grow out of it.
All right, Anthony.
They're a vigorous, hardy plant.
Yep, there you go, Anthony. Try that out and get it just growing fresh.
Give them a good feed and cultivate around them. Give them a good feed. Water them in the heat, and they'll go berserk for you.
Great. All right, Lissy asks over on TikTok, hello, I'm renting and can't plant anything in our yard. Any potted flowers or tree tips? Any potted flowers or tree tips for a rental?
Right, okay. So, I think if you wanted to brighten up your place for summer and autumn from here, something like Calabracea. Calabracea are fabulous plants. They're sometimes called million bells, and they just flower and flower and flower and flower. We've got one in front of our house, and it's in a big tub. And I reckon at any one, and it's been flowering for the last 6 or 8 weeks beautifully, and at any one time it'd have 500 or 600 little flowers on it. It's amazing. And you can get them in any colour you imagine. Calabraceas come in that colour.
Okay.
And so if you... And then what you might do is you might go and get yourself a couple of nice little weeping trees. Like weeping trees can be kept really nicely in a big pot. So if you've got some big pots and you put a couple of nice weeping trees in them, pop some different coloured Calabraceas around the base. Like actually what would look really nice is a standard Nishiki willow. Actually I'll get a Nishiki willow, because Nishiki willows, I'll just be gone a sec.
That's okay.
You can tell them something. And I'll
Yeah, Chris is going to go look for one of those plants right now to show us on the live. Just a couple of reminders, we're going to do another live on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, which will be all about our Hydrangea Spectacular, which we have on it at the moment. Heaps of different varieties of hydrangeas, and also at 2 p.m. on the same day, that's this Wednesday, November the 5th, we also will be hosting a Japanese maple live, showing off our Japanese maples in the shop, and we have quite a large selection, so definitely tune in for those 2 lives this Wednesday. All right, Chris is back now with the Nishiki willow to show off how beautiful they look at this time of the year.
Yeah, this is just a baby Nishiki willow, and they have beautiful white and pink new growth on them. Now if you were to get something like a Nishiki willow, just a little one, and plant that in a pot, and then plants it, that'll grow into a beautiful ball on a stick. If you were to plant that in a pot and then around it plant some nice Calabraceas, you would have something that you could keep beautifully in a pot for years and years and years.
Awesome, Lissy. There's some suggestions for you. She says, thank you. You're welcome, Lissy. And
yeah, but a
hopefully
nice
you can see it very nicely there.
Yeah, nice standard with some nice annuals flowering underneath.
Yeah, and that pinky white foliage is really stunning too. So you just trim it in as a ball on the stick, isn't it, in the pot?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, Lissy, check that one out. All right, next question comes to us from Jason. What's a small shrub or ground cover I can put in front of a small box hedge with a bit of layering?
Okay, so you need something with a low box hedge that's quite low, and you need something quite low to layer with that. And in a very formal style, you could use a trimmed Asiatic jasmine ground cover, and that could make a very nice dark green, very neat border to go in front. But something else would be Snow in Summer, which is a beautiful silver, fine leaf silver ground cover, and that would contrast beautifully. And then super duper hardy would be Diamondia. So Diamondia is sort of a greyish, ground cover, very, very hardy, very, very flat and low. A little bit higher would be your silver dichondra, and a little bit higher again would be Asiatic jasmine, dark green and kind of formal style. But that's 3. So Asiatic jasmine, diamondia, and snow in summer.
Beautiful. There's some good suggestions for you, Jason. And again, if you miss any of these answers, you can replay the live over on YouTube. Just search Hello Hello Plants and look for our latest live. All right, Christy asks, and then we'll jump back over to Instagram in a sec, guys. Hang in there. Christy asks on TikTok, wanting to plant star jasmine next to our pool along diamond wire trellis, or okay for next to pool?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's a great choice near the pool, and you have the wires there and you grow them and clip onto them. And what a little discovery that I made when I was doing that myself is that if you get like, we've got nice big bushy Chinese star jasmine here. We've got them about probably a metre tall for about $60 at the moment. So they're a metre tall, and so they give you a really good start for covering up your wires. But what I discovered is that when you say you try and cover 2 wires with one plant and you open the plant out like that, they very often break apart down the middle. They split down the middle, and I did that a couple of times and got very upset with myself. And then I thought about it, and then I discovered that if you get your Chinese star jasmine and you want to do 2 wires like that, what you do is you don't pull it apart, you pull it this way, and they never break. You can pull them as hard as you like across each other like that, to inwards on each other, and they never break. And so because what happens is with the V of the wires, you need to, unless you want to buy heaps of plants, which you don't, you need to actually break them apart and split them into 2. But when you split them into 2 pieces to go on the wires, you pull them inwards like that and not apart. When you pull them apart like that, they break.
All right, so, that's awesome tip there. Yeah, there you go, Chris. That's a great tip, just growing the jasmine along the trellis.
Yeah, and you can buy nice big Chinese star jasmine. You can use little ones, and it just takes time to cover. But we've got some quite big plants that you could use to cover that, to do that quickly around the pool.
Wonderful. All right, you're welcome, Chrissy, yes, who says thank you so much. All right, I'm going to jump back over to Instagram. We'll come back to TikTok in a sec. Abs for you all asks, I have grafted prunus shields, and what I noticed that shoots are growing from the main trunk as compared to the grafted top. Do I just cut the new growth on the main stems? Yes,
cut them neat and flat on the main stem. Because what it is, how they make a Shields or any other weeping cherry, is that they grow a wild cherry, and it's grown from tissue culture because it's had all viruses and diseases removed from it, and it's grown from tissue culture, so it's a really strong, powerful plant, and it wants to take over. So give it a chance to take over, and overnight you'll have this giant, strong cherry tree that'll take over. And if you let it take over, will kill off your weeper. So very, very important to and with any tree that's grafted, you've got to make sure that the little shoots from underneath don't take over from the graft. So your grafted cherry is grafted up. It depends. It might be grafted at 1.2 meters, 1.4, or 1.8 meters is normally as high as they do them. But it's grafted at that height. So what you do is when you've got, and this applies really for any weeping tree, what I tell people to do is I tell them to look at the top and go back down the top till you see the graft. And the graft, you can actually see the cuts in the graft, and you see a little bit of swelling and a little bit of, you can tell where the graft is. And once you've located that graft, anything that is underneath that graft is undesirable. So what I do, so when I've worried about something like that, and I've got shoots coming up or something like that, you've got to make sure you don't damage your head, your graft. And so you basically look at the head, you come down the head and you find the graft, locate the graft with your finger like that, and then look down, and anything that's underneath that is undesirable, and you get rid of it. So that's the way to do it, is locate the graft and then come down.
All right, abs for you all. Yes, just get rid of the growth below the graft and you'll be right. All right, next question comes to us from Svenja asking, do you know when you will be restocking Allergene Nina Bella Purple native hibiscus?
I reckon I saw, when I was working down there doing displays ready for the weekend, there was a couple of dozen trays, but you could just ring up and just check. There was a couple of dozen plants when I looked, but we've had a very busy weekend. We'd have to double check that now.
Yeah.
So if you just speak to the staff here, they'll go check it down there. And but there was, I think it might have been Thursday, I was fixing up the native display and I put a couple of trays there.
All right, maybe give us a call, Svenja, on 03 9359 331. You can call us now and yeah, we can get a few set aside for you, as Chris said there, or we can check they might still be down there, depending on how they went over the weekend, the long weekend, which we're still in the middle of. All right, next question comes to us from Anthony asking, when are the Cordyline electric flash back in stock?
Electric flash, let's have a look on the web. Are they marked out of stock at the moment?
They never went out of stock, apparently. No, just kidding. Let's have a look. What is it?
Because they're in stock right now, but sometimes our web people don't keep up with the reality.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement of high turnover. Yeah, so it says not in. I'm just looking at the, yeah, sold out online.
Bastards. It makes me mad that I'm stocking these plants and there's people telling people that they're out of stock. So right now, I guarantee if you were to come down here, electric flash are very hard to get anywhere in Melbourne, but I've twisted some grower's arm and I've got a beautiful batch of them in there, and I'm very annoyed to see that they're marked out of stock.
So what should they do?
I reckon that they get in the car, get down here as quick as they can on this beautiful. The rain has stopped.
They're 100% out there.
100%.
All right.
I'll run and get one and show them if you like.
All right, Anthony.
Do you want me to run and get one? It'll take me about 90 seconds if I go real quick.
No, that's all. We better keep going. Got a lot of questions here, but Anthony,
why don't you get one of our staff to go get them? We'll show him.
Okay, we'll see if we can arrange. We'll see if we can arrange that for you. Electric flash Cordyline. All right, Anthony, thank you for the question, and yes, apparently we have them in stock. All right, we'll get to your questions on the other platforms. Just hang in there, guys. Thank you so much for all the questions. We do have a second question from Svenja, just asking how to help an Alberta peach tree from leaf curl. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Once you see the curly leaf, it's too late to do. Well, actually, no, there is not too late to do anything. But basically, people see those curly leaves in spring, and they think, oh my God, what can I do? What you can do is that the curly leaf is ugly, but it's not fatal. And so if you fertilise and water that peach tree well this summer, it'll grow out of that curly leaf. But curly leaf is undesirable, and how you combat curly leaf is 2 or 3 times through the winter, you spray Bordeaux mixture. Now, Bordeaux mixture, you can look it up on the internet and you can make your own Bordeaux mixture now, because what it is that Bordeaux mixture is only good for a day or 2 after you make it. So and Bordeaux mixture is interesting. It's the first fungicide that man sprayed. So it's the very first. It was invented in France in the Bordeaux region. Is it highly toxic? Hundreds of years ago. No, it's very low toxicity. Okay. But so what it is, and they've been spraying on fruit trees and grapes and that for hundreds of years. So Bordeaux mixture, buy the ingredients, you mix it up and you use it fresh. You don't want old style Bordeaux mixture. So mix it up, use it fresh and do it, and you can see online how to mix it up and use it fresh. It's a very simple, easy thing, been around for hundreds of years. But you mix it up, use it fresh, and you spray in June, July and August on your fruit trees to get the curly leaf, and you spray them when they've got no leaves, right in the dead of winter, because the curly leaf is actually a fungus that gets into the buds during the winter time when the plant's dormant, and then it exhibits itself in springtime when the leaves come out. But it happens earlier. But then once it has occurred, plenty of fertilizer and water and really looking after that tree through the summer, and the new leaves will grow. Won't have that. The new growth won't have the curly leaf on it. So if you've got curly leaf, grow it out. And if you want to prevent curly leaf, mix up Bordeaux mixture and spray it in the winter. Perfect. All right, there you go, Svenja. That's answering your second question about the leaf curl. All right, better jump over to some other platforms here and answer your questions. But hang in there, everyone on the other platforms. We're coming to your questions. All right, so next one comes to us from Sas Ash on Facebook. What would be the best flower all year around hedging?
The best.
Flower all year around hedging. Oh, hang on, just before we get to that question, we've got electric pink. Is that the same thing?
This is it. In stock now.
So
Electric pink, there we are.
Anthony says he's on his way, by the way.
Oh, good. So electric pink.
There you go. Electric. He did say electric
and
flash.
this is pink passion. This is pink passion
Okay.
here. But this is electric pink. Now, what's interesting, while we've got...
Electric flash? Is it much different or is it the same thing? So it's electric pink on that.
It's electric pink. It's not electric flash. Electric flash. We don't have electric flash. It's out of stock.
All right, Anthony, better turn around.
But electric pink, we've got electric pink, which is kind of pink. It's like the pink flash.
Oh no!
So there we
Hopefully
are.
Anthony's watching the live still. But
Yeah.
no worries. We got the next best thing though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Electric pink.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. Well, look, we can sort that out for you, Anthony, once you get in here. Might have a disgruntled customer in a moment. All right, now we've got to get on with the questions. There's quite a few, so we'll get back to our friend over on Facebook, Sasa, I think you say. I'm not sure. What would be the best flower all year around hedging?
Okay. So year-round hedging, if I wanted year-round colour, I would plant something like a Pacific Sunset, and it doesn't flower hardly at all. But what it does do is has beautiful coloured foliage surrounding. So if I want a year-round colour in my hedge, Pacific Sunset would give me colour every day of the year.
Okay. Pacific Sunset?
Yeah,
Yep.
but if I wanted a long flowering hedge, what would I use? Let me think. Long flowering. Most hedges don't flower for that long.
What about choicia? Not really, yeah? It's only like a few months, isn't
No,
it?
it doesn't flower very long. Oh, orange jessamine. Orange jessamine.
yeah.
I reckon that flowers for about 5 months of the year, and that has a white fragrant flower. And I always think that orange jessamine is the best source of fragrance in a Melbourne garden, because there's other things that are possibly more fragrant, but they only have a short period of fragrance, whereas your orange jessamine, beautiful fragrance, and it's for a long time. It's at least 5 months of the year in Melbourne that your orange jessamine is going to flower and give off beautiful fragrance.
Awesome. All right, Sasa, check that one out. We've got another question here from Facebook. Janet asks, any idea for spillers over a retaining wall where it's very shaded, very little daylight, certainly no sun? Emerald Falls didn't work.
Okay, I'd be going for creeping Jenny. And the toughest creeping Jenny is the green creeping Jenny. But creeping Jenny loves the shade, but you've got a green or a gold, and they'll spill beautifully, and they love the shade.
All right, Janet, there you go. Again, if you miss any of these answers to your questions, head over to YouTube straight after this live's finished, and this live will be posted. Just search for Hello Hello Plants and look at our latest live. All right, next question comes to us from Raven in Sydney asking, hi, I'm after a small hedge about 50 centimetres in height. I love it to be red in colour. I'm in Sydney.
Right.
Red coloured, 50 centimetre height hedge.
Okay, so a little bit sort of rough and kind of, what would I say, a little bit sort of funky looking is Irisine bloodleaf. A friend of mine has done lots of hedges of that, and great in the shade, really good in the shade. And the other one that you could use that would do well in Sydney, doesn't do so good in Melbourne, is your, what's it called? Ruby. Ruby.
Is it a lily pilly? What is it?
No, it's...
Ruby. Do you want me to look it up or?
Red ruby.
Yeah, hang on. Red ruby, is that what it's called?
No, it's not red ruby. It's ruby. It's a. It works more as an annual in Melbourne, but it works in Sydney. But growing beautifully in Sydney is your Irisine bloodleaf.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then you've got a.
Ruby tips?
No, not ruby tips. Ruby.
Sure, I can't see it here. That's okay, we can come back to it. It wouldn't be a ruby lace, would it? That's a good.
No, it's not a ruby lace, no. Well, actually, that brings me to another one. At 50 centimetres tall, beautiful hedge, plum gorgeous. sort of a purpley red colour.
Yeah.
Plum Gorgeous would make a beautiful 50 centimetre tall hedge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, there you go. I think that was it Janet? Yeah. No, sorry, not Janet. Raven over on TikTok here. So there's 2 options for you for Sydney. Try those out. Hedonistic asks, hi, I got a small yard in a unit. I would like to grow a small Christmas tree. Any suggestions?
Yeah, I Picea albertiana nana compacta.
The longest tree name on the planet, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is a miniature spruce. I wonder if we've got one handy that we could show them.
I don't know. Do we have them in now? Or?
Yeah. And what it is, it's a miniature spruce. I'll just have a real quick look out here because they're
all
out
right.
here. I've got them. Oh.
All right, we'll mention again, we've only got a few more minutes of this live left where we'll answer your questions. Thank you very much to everyone who's asked a question, and we'll have an answer for you shortly. Chris is just going to quickly look for that, I can't even say the name of it, that long named Christmas tree. So thank you to everyone who's joined us here and for all the questions. So this Wednesday at 1 o'clock we have our Hydrangea Spectacular live, and then this Wednesday as well we have another live, which is the Japanese Maple live at 2 p.m. So if you want to join us for those two,
so there's none in stock, but it's a beautiful compact little spruce. And what's great about it is if you buy a lot of other spruces and put them in a pot, within a couple of years they've grown too big to even bring into the house. But your Picea albertiana nana compacta is we have them here every year for sale for Christmas.
And they're good for small compact, is it?
Yeah, and what it is that you buy a small one and it stays small for years and years and years, and because what happens is children get attached to their Christmas tree, and having to chuck the old one out and get a new one kind of upsets them. Whereas if you just keep the same tree year after year. And but this applies to all spruce trees. Where people go wrong with their Christmas spruces, that sometime in late November, early December, they grab the spruce tree that's in a pot out in the deck and they bring it in. That's fine, and they bring it in and they water it and they look after it and everything like that. And it stays in there, and then sort of like late January, they reckon it's time to put the spruce tree out, and they think it might need a bit of sun. So 43-degree days looming. This spruce has been inside. It's been inside for 2 months and had no direct sun on it. So it's sort of like a human that's been in Switzerland in winter for 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
And anyway, so they decide, they think, oh, the sun's out today, and they take it out on a 46-degree day, and they put it back out on the deck, and they turn black within a day or two. And so what the secret is with your spruce is, I used to keep the same spruce tree for years and years and years, and what I did was I would bring it out in January, you know, when I'd had enough of it in the house, and I used to put it in the shade, and I would leave it in the shade until winter, and then in winter you'd put it back out in the sun and it would acclimatise back to the sun. But bringing your spruce out in the heat of summer and putting it right out in the sun can be absolutely deadly. And if you want a compact spruce that'll last you for years, it's the Picea albertiana, and I was just showing off saying Nana compacta, which is the full Latin name.
All right, awesome. Well, you can try hedonistic. You can try googling that name and or check our website to find it. And they're just saying thank you. Yes, you're welcome. All right, great. So let's just quickly move. We've only got a few more minutes left on this live. We'll quickly move through the last few questions here. Nav asks, hi, could you please suggest green wall idea for my splash glass kitchen front? Thank you.
What was that?
Can you suggest a green wall idea for my splash glass kitchen front?
Okay, so what it is, you're possibly looking out the window. You're possibly looking out the window at a timber, like a lot of people got those big sort of long splash windows, and they're looking out at a timber fence. Now, if that timber fence was only a metre away, I would grow a Chinese star jasmine wall, and somebody talked about earlier on, you could paint your timber thing and you could do a diamond pattern, and that could look really good, or you could just do a plain, what's easier, is just a plain green wall of Chinese star jasmine. So you could have a plain green wall of Chinese star jasmine, you do crisscross of Chinese star jasmine. But the other thing that I often do is when, say I'm 1.5 or 2 metres from the window to the fence or wall that's over there, what I'll often plant is giant birds of paradise. In fact, I did a display home like that last week. Your giant birds of paradise, and giant birds of paradise give off a luscious tropical feel. And then underneath those giant birds, I put Canary Island ivy just to finish off the planter box underneath. So Canary Island ivies with giant birds of paradise standing up in it, and that gave a lovely luscious green. But you need to paint your fence, because you can see through the giant birds of paradise. So you might paint your fence white or grey or something like that. Then put your Chinese, or you go for your Chinese star jasmine or your giant birds of paradise.
Wow, amazing. I don't really have an idea. What is the splash glass
Okay,
kitchen
so
front?
what people do is they have their kitchen.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a fashion at the moment. You have your kitchen, and then you have this long, low window, so that when you're there doing the dishes or whatever, or chopping up the mince,
Onions.
you're looking out that window at the fence.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. All right, now I hope there's a few answers of products that you could use, and again, you can watch this live straight after we finish. Post it on YouTube. Just search "Hello Hello Plants." Check the latest live. Illust asks, will Hardenbergia Mima grow on an east-facing fence with morning sun only?
Yeah, in fact, I did a video on Nima
Yeah, just went
on
out
a
last
fence
week.
just recently,
Yeah.
so you could have a look at it. And that was an east-facing fence, and it
cool.
was fabulous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great
Just
stuff.
actually, if you search Hardenbergia Mima Hello Hello Plants on YouTube, you'll find that video straight away. Got a question here from Notification asking, can I get my English box hedge back to green now they've gone brown? Doesn't sound very good.
It depends what shade of brown. Like, there's browny brown, and then there's brown brown. You know, and basically, if your hedge, say you're living at somewhere where it's really frosty, they can sort of go a kind of a purpley brown, and then they'll green back up when spring comes. If they're really, really hungry, you put dolomite lime on them. But what happens to a lot of people have got bigger expanses of concrete, and they got clay soil, and they'll plant some box hedge along the edge in the clay soil along the edge of their big expanse of concrete, and then in the winter, the water runs off the concrete. That part where they planted their box becomes a swamp, and the box turned brown, and those boxes that are turned brown like that are dead. But if they die, if it's frost or hunger or something like that, then fertilizer and a bit of warmth and water will turn them green again. So if I was to see the colour brown, I could tell you what the answer is.
Yeah, if you want to shoot us an email, sales@hellohelloplants.com.au, we can take a look at that for you there, Notification, and find out whether it's truly gone or if it's revivable. Yeah. All right, and Illis says they saw the vid on the Hardenbergia Mima. That's great.
Great.
There's a statement here, but unfortunately I don't have the full question here from Luke Squires. We're going to have to wrap up the live here soon. It's just a comment here saying
let's go out on one good question.
All right, well, we're going to have to wrap it up, guys.
Something
but thank
exciting.
you so much. Anthony says he's on his way. I mean, we saw that before. I'm going to have to jump over to another platform just to give the other platforms a bit of love. All right, well, I don't know if this is exciting enough for you, Chris. I'll just ask it anyway. Hey, Chris, I planted Robinia mop tops. They have curling leaves and looking sad. I think I have poor drainage. I've done a rot treatment and Seasol soil wetter treatment. What do I do now?
Raise them up. Raise them up. Basically, Robinia are the toughest tree. Robinia mop tops are the toughest trees you can buy. They're a beautiful ball on a stick. Great way to transform your land, and they're tough for everything except for wet feet. They're suckers for wet feet. Give them a bit of wet feet and they're cactus. And so what it is what's great is that you've seen the problem before they're dead. Now pull them up and lift them up, grow them in a mound, put a box around them, do anything, lift them up out of the water and give them some drainage, and they'll flourish. They're the toughest and best trees around, but they will not survive wet feet. Beautiful.
Yeah, Grace says that she's had them for the last 2 years, no issues last summer. So the raising will do the trick?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think we can answer this one real quick. Gabs, for you all just asked, thanks for answering the Prunus Shields question. And then just, would you suggest any good pruner cutter that I can use, or anything from Bunnings would suffice? Do you have to get a particular one, or it doesn't really matter?
Falco secateurs have got the proper flat side and they cut really nicely. And if you use the flat side of the secateurs up against the bark, you can do a beautiful, neat, tight cut. because you don't want to leave any sort of like, you've got to cut neat and close to the bark, and that discourages more shoots.
All right, there you go, guys. Well, look, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you to everyone who's asked a question, left a comment. Chris is a very busy man.
Electric Flash.
Electric
There
Flash. Anthony will be here shortly. Just to Luke's
Actually, what they could do is they could go out looking at some beautiful hydrangeas, and I'll tell them about our hydrange live.
Okay, just quickly to say, Luke, we got you. I didn't see your full question there, just letting you know that the question didn't come through fully. But thank you to everyone. If you missed our live here today, where is Chris gone? We're going to try and... All right, we're going to just try and film Chris outside. Oh no, he's coming in. He's coming in.
Okay.
All right, so thank you to everyone who joined us today. Chris just wants to show you the hydrangeas for the live coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So check these out.
Wednesday, 1 p.m, we've got 30 different varieties of hydrangea in store. Buying hydrangea is fabulous. Having hydrangea in the garden is gorgeous, and knowing about them is essential. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through the 30 different varieties we've got here, so that you can work out which hydrangeas would go where in your garden, whether you can grow them in a pot, grow them in a garden bed, what colours you can get, whether they can grow in sun or shade. I'll be giving you the lowdown on 30 varieties at 1 o'clock this Wednesday on your favourite platform. So join me for our hydrangea live. It's what is it?
Wednesday, 1 p.m, November the 5th.
Yeah, it's been called a hydrangea spectacular.
And we'll be on all the platforms that you guys are on now, and you can just watch the live then. Also, I just wanted to say, we didn't get to everyone's questions, but you can join us next Monday at 12 p.m. and get your question in nice and early about your garden if you want to have it answered here on the live. We've also got a Growers Direct flash sale live on Friday at 12 p.m. as well. So we're going live 4 times this week. So just check out our socials and you'll see the times of when we're going live.
Great, thank you.
All right, see ya.